Hi, intrepid viewers. Sorry, I've still got a band-aid on my face. I've had another skin cancer cut out this week. Now, guys, we're starting to see the worm turn. I'm sure you've all seen footage of the town hall. What was his name? GOP rep Rich McCormack in Georgia. This was a county that went 65% Trump. Our savior, our daddy. Okay, 65%. Well, now, not so marvelous. Not so marvelous. So it was really interesting. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But some of the cries from the floor were tax Musk. And my personal favourite was a woman who said, "What are you going to do about the megalomaniac in the White House?" She said to her GOP rep. And she got a standing ovation. So that's in the heartland. And I think this is what's going to happen. It's going to peel off county by county, state by state. You know. So there was also a woman called Ariel Kane. She was fired under a federal aid program. She was working on maternal health. She has now got 12 million views and it's still climbing. So here we go. We're going to ask, I'm going to refer to it as the peel off, issue by issue, county by county. And you have those insidious people. Look, two of my least favourite people in the world would be Susan Collins from Maine and Lisa Murkowski from Alaska because they help Kavanaugh get through. They always cave at the end. They pretend to be doing something and they're not. And now they're both whimpering that their states are going to be impacted. Chuck Grassley, who should have retired 35 years ago, can't stay awake if you paid him $1,000 a minute, has he resurrected long enough to vote for something terrible, but now he's begging the Iowa farmers to be spared. Well, too late, pet. You should have thought of that 20 years ago too. Anyway, moving on, let's have a look at the great peel-off. Okay. Sunday in Australia and it's stinking hot, I have to tell you. What's happening with the people? Hmm. Okay. Yeah, well, crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear. King of Swords can be a legal card. This could talk about various legal cases that are at least slowing things down a bit. But equally, it could represent the evil Doge, the Department of Greed and Evil, slashing with their sword. Either way, or it even could be both. Either way, it's at the heart of this mini spread about the peel-offs. What's their greatest obstacle is the world. I think these states are beginning to realize, with all this America First bombardment from birth and then reiterated under the Yeti, we are connected. Your farms produce goods that go to other places. I mean, this is revelatory. But the world is watching because other countries are going further to the right, and we've got Germany's election tomorrow, which is probably going to not be good. Okay, the world. This is also the end of a huge cycle. So I think this is the end of a cycle of people not being interested in politics. I'll just go to church and let my ignorant ass pastor tell me his favorite 18 verses of the Bible that say terrible things about everyone else. They're not biblical scholars, they're not theologians, they're money makers. Prosperity gospel. Please spare me. I've got a hotline to Jesus. Don't. I digress. Sorry, viewers. So back onto this, peeling on. Normally, business as usual, it's the Mitch McConnells and everyone else who have been around forever, and they govern and are representatives of the poorest red states while they themselves are perfectly and personally wealthy. That's just how it is. Suddenly, people do have to hold on to their money and the resources that they've got because Elon will be there while you're sleeping and taking away things, right? It's really important to be sensible with money and holding on. The peel off, Hierophant, this is the government courts and law and order generally. Now, normally, these three big institutions of any society, I'll just say it again, it actually includes organised religion. So it's organised religion, government, and courts. So, given my rave just then, that basically the religious bodies have kept people dumb and kept people dialed down from realising how they've been shafted. Right. The government is the one who is causing fear and mayhem, and the courts are just holding on by their toenails. Right. So, is it gaining momentum? I think this is the giveaway. Yes, it is gaining momentum because it has to happen. I think we all need to take a step back because a question I get asked often is, when will it end? When will the Yeti die or whatever? When will we be rid of these nutcases? It's actually an open-ended question, even for mediums and psychics, because it's in the hands of the people to stop it, or at least slow it down, or to reinvent the society on the other side of a government collapse. But I'd also like to say here too, please don't overinvest in this idea that the Yeti, in other words, if he floats off the mortal coil, it'll all be over. No, 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 no. What it will mean, though, if Vance takes the big chair and he brings in one of his kids to wipe snot all over the Resolute desk, he nor Musk, neither of them have the charisma to carry off the horror. Right? That's why it'll continue past the Yeti, but it won't hopefully be able to continue much further because the Yeti, if nothing else, has a potload of perverse charisma. Okay. Now, speaking of Doge, where are the Dems? Where are the Dems? And regular viewers will know I'm not talking about the ones who are out there every day, all day, the AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett's, or there's half a dozen who are fabulous, who are doing the job of an entire party. Right? But one of the catch cries, if Dems had a leader, and they don't, it is perfectly apparent, if they had a leader, this word waste, it's a very specific word. It implies not needed, extra to requirements. It's waste. And they are saying to veterans, we're going to cut this and that, meaning, which is what the Dems should be saying, they're treating you as waste. To not offer lifetime Medicaid to 9/11, you are waste. You can't afford your kids' Ventolin inhaler, waste. It's a very ugly term, and the Dems have to not only wake up and stand up, but start actually putting a bit of ugly back in the fight. Just over it. So, SNAP for children. It's cruel. It's beyond cruel. And they should be making that case with pictures of hungry kids. It's delinquent of the Dems to have abrogated their responsibility now, but I'll do a dedicated video to that. Okay, speaking of waste, Elon went to CPAC with the dark glasses. He was wasted. Let's talk about waste. He was off his tree. Anyone who's been around drug users or drug addicts, you're looking at it. Look at this. Look at this guy, right? Deadbeat dad of a generation. The man has 12 kids. Now imagine if this was someone from the ghetto. He has 12 kids, four baby mamas, doesn't live with any of them, which means he can't actually have a human relationship. Apart from wheeling out the 4-year-old, we know where he is 24/7 and he's not with any of his kids. Right. Now, I'm sure you've seen the social media thing. So the mother of three of the kids or whatever, surname Grimes, I never caught up with her as an artist. People say she's great. She's obviously a better singer and musician than she is picker of men. She's been trying to get hold of Elon for weeks. He won't answer her phone or text. They have a very ill child with health complications that have implications for life, and she cannot get hold of him. And she's gone public on X. He's then shadow banned her. She said, I'm going to keep coming back. It's gobsmacking. This is a man who refers to his trans daughter as his dead son. Now, what modern parent would be like that, right? We're not talking the 1950s here. He's a disgrace, absolute disgrace. And the party of family values and so, see, there's this disconnect between what I call the fake Christians, the flat earthers, and Elon. This is a marriage of convenience for Trump, his faith room and all of that rubbish. Nothing to do with faith. But Elon doesn't even pretend. And now he's feuding with the astronaut. So let's have a quick look. Will public criticism of Musk as a father, will this grow? Public criticism. Public criticism of Elon as a dad. I know, for all these people with daddy issues, he's the last person you'd want. Okay. But is it going to grow? Is it going to bite? Yes, well, I'm not surprised he's hermiting. Oh, this is going to get worse. Oh my God, look at this. It's funny how the world works, isn't it? Okay. The hermit shining light. The sun shining light on his relationships, or you could say non-relationships, right? So in answer to my question, we're going to see so much more. It's going to be emotionally overwhelming. Some of these stories, like I said, if this was an ordinary guy, he would never get custody of his kids and stuff. I mean, but we're going to hear emotional horror stories about this. And this is also his pact with the American people, right? Those who were cheering as he got up with the chainsaw, thank you, Malay. Isn't it funny? This could actually do more damage to Musk than any arguments, or tweets or anything else. This is profoundly damaging to him because he's the shiny tech bro, and he does it all. He's just an egotistical sperm donor. He is not a father. Take a screenshot. Elon Musk Tower. Okay, love that. Now, where are we here? Florida, special election coming up. I hope the Dems in Florida are being more active than they appear to be. So let's have a look at the Florida election on April 1st. Oh, please. I don't know if it's soon enough. Have they all got it? You know, there's a big difference between Miami and the Panhandle, like, oh, how will Florida's special election go? How will Florida's special election go? Let's go. All right. I shuffled and shuffled. We got this again. All right. They might end up hogtied, but we'll see. Okay. There is momentum. I think Dems in Florida are very worried because, well, obvious reasons, their electorate's being arrested and deported. So, I didn't know it meant us. You realize you actually can't protect people from themselves, people's insular little world. Well, I'm a legit business person. They won't touch me. But they're out now and they're angry. Okay, underneath is this lovers card again. Lovers is about contracts and deals. I will be interested what the Dems are actually saying. So any viewers from Florida, please let me know. Because if they're going out and saying, well, if you vote for us, we'll try and stop it, I don't know if they could deliver on that, but they could be offering other things. And I'd like to know what they are. But this is, to me, the Dems talking to their community. So this is in the recent past position, which is things have moved so quickly for all of us. You go to bed in one world and you wake up in another. It is so fast. People in Florida have a lot of financial considerations to make. So already virtually even prestige properties are becoming uninsurable. You would have maximum impact of deported agricultural workers. There is also, because of Canada being bullied into a corner and saying, well, you know what? You're not going to see another Canadian snowbird. So they're thinking about the financial issues and how this impacts. I'm going to say I hope the election is tight in this sense. At least, please, God, make it tight. This could also be figurative in the sense of people feel they can't do anything, but you always can, right? So this figure is missing the fact they can get out of the bonds, take off the blindfold, and move through the gap in the swords. So it might be, like I said, a bit too soon for people to suddenly go Dem. Now, speaking of that, Joe Walsh, who's been a right-wing pundit for as long as I can remember. Now, in fairness to the man, he did officially leave the Republican Party, like a lot of the Lincoln ad guys did and so forth. He's one of those. But he said yesterday, I'm an inch away from voting Democrat. So again, this is symbolic and major. And New York Post, the tawdry old right-wing rag that it is in New York. Picture of Putin. This is a response to Trump and Vance on Ukraine. Huge front page picture of Putin going, this is a dictator. New York Post. So, guys, keep strong and keep out there. My mantra from now on is courage is contagious. Just like fear is contagious, courage is contagious. So let me just check my list here. Before I go, blessings. Leonard Peltier has been released. How many years? 50 years or something in jail. Native American activist. He's done his entire life in jail. So that's something good. I'd encourage you to check out Secular Talk if you don't already know this guy, Kyle Kulinski. I like him. He's got, in Australia, we call it mongrel. He's got a bit of mongrel. And just before we leave, let's talk about the Midas Touch. This is great. Midas Touch Network has passed now Fox. That is an awesome achievement. And let's remind ourselves about the legend of King Midas. He wished everything he owned or touched was gold. And then food was turned to gold and he starved to death, right? So let's remember this. Okay, guys, stay safe, lots of love, and let me know what you think in the comments. Besos.